The conflict between Russia and Ukraine has deep historical, political, and social roots, culminating in a full-scale war that began in February 2022. Here's a detailed overview. Historical context. 1. Soviet legacy. Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union until its dissolution in 1991. The Soviet era saw significant repression and Russification, which left lingering tensions between Russian and Ukrainian identities. 2. Post-Soviet relations. After gaining independence, Ukraine sought to assert its sovereignty and develop closer ties with the West, leading to friction with Russia. This was especially pronounced with Ukraine's aspirations to join NATO and the European Union. Key events leading to the war. 1. Orange Revolution, 2004. A series of protests in response to a disputed presidential election highlighted the divide between pro-Russian and pro-Western factions in Ukraine. 2. Euromaidan protests, 2013-2014, triggered by then-President Viktor Yanukovych's decision to reject an association agreement with the EU. These protests led to his ousting. This shift towards the West alarmed Russia. 3. Annexation of Crimea, 2014. Following Yanukovych's removal, Russia annexed Crimea, citing the need to protect ethnic Russians and Russian speakers. This act was condemned internationally and led to sanctions against Russia. 4. War in Donbas, 2014. Pro-Russian separatists in eastern Ukraine declared independence, leading to an ongoing conflict with the Ukrainian government. Russia has been accused of supporting these separatists militarily and politically. Causes of the 2022 invasion. 1. Security concerns. Russia perceives NATO's eastward expansion as a direct threat to its national security. The prospect of Ukraine joining NATO was particularly contentious. 2. Cultural and political influence. Russia aims to maintain influence over Ukraine, which it views as a crucial part of its sphere of influence and a buffer against Western encroachment. 3. Desire for territorial control. Control over Crimea and parts of eastern Ukraine aligns with Russia's strategic interests, including military and economic considerations. 4. Internal Russian politics. The Kremlin, under Vladimir Putin, has used the narrative of protecting Russian speakers and fighting against alleged neo-Nazi elements in Ukraine to justify its actions. The 2022 invasion. On February 24, 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, citing the need to demilitarize and denazify the country. This escalation has resulted in widespread condemnation, further sanctions on Russia, and a unified response from NATO and Western countries supporting Ukraine militarily and economically. Ongoing conflict. The war has led to significant loss of life, displacement of millions, and destruction of infrastructure. Ukraine has received extensive military aid from Western nations, bolstering its defense and counter-offensive capabilities. Conclusion. The war in Ukraine is rooted in complex historical grievances, geopolitical tensions, and cultural identities. As of now, the conflict remains unresolved, with ongoing battles and diplomatic efforts continuing in an attempt to reach a resolution. The situation continues to evolve, with significant implications for global security and international relations.